Hello everyone, and welcome to today's episode where we dive into the stories shaping the future of science and technology. Today, we're talking about a groundbreaking innovation that's changing the landscape of biology and medicine, AlphaFold2. It's a revolutionary AI tool that's cracked one of the toughest problems in science, protein folding. And guess what? It earned its creators a Nobel Prize in Chemistry in 2024. I'm excited to take you through what AlphaFold2 is, why it's such a big deal, and how it's helping us unlock some of the deepest mysteries of life. So, let's jump in. First off, let's talk proteins. Now, we've all heard about them. People talk about protein in their diets, but do you really know what proteins are? These tiny molecules are basically the engines that keep all living things running. They make up our cells, help our bodies function, and are behind almost everything that happens in a living organism. Whether it's speeding up chemical reactions, providing structural support, or defending the body against infections, proteins are at the core of it all. But proteins aren't just random molecules floating around. They are made up of long chains of amino acids, which have to fold into very specific shapes to work properly. If they don't fold correctly, bad things can happen. Think of diseases like Alzheimer's or Parkinson's, which can result from misfolded proteins. So, understanding how proteins fold is crucial for understanding life itself. This is where the protein folding problem comes in, a challenge that scientists have been trying to crack for over 50 years. Here's the kicker: predicting the exact 3D shape of a protein from its amino acid sequence has been insanely difficult. Traditional methods like X-ray crystallography and cryo-electron microscopy can give us the answers, but they take a lot of time, effort, and money. Imagine trying to solve a massive puzzle without a picture to guide you. Up until recently, scientists had managed to figure out the structures of only around 200,000 proteins after decades of hard work. Sounds like a lot, right? But in the grand scheme of things, it's just a drop in the ocean. Enter AlphaFold2. Created by the brilliant minds at DeepMind, Google's AI division, AlphaFold2 changes everything. Within just a few years, this AI model predicted over 200 million protein structures, more than all the work done by scientists in decades. It's like we went from crawling to flying in just a few years. AlphaFold2 doesn't just make educated guesses, it achieves a stunning 90% accuracy, often getting results that are as good as, or even better than, experimental data. This achievement alone would be enough to shake up the scientific world. But it's about so much more than just numbers. Let me break down how this all started. Back in 1994, scientists launched a competition called CASP, Critical Assessment of Protein Structure Prediction. The goal? To figure out who could come up with the best way to predict how proteins fold. Fast forward to 2018, and DeepMind entered the competition with AlphaFold1. It did well, but it wasn't until AlphaFold2 came along in 2020 that things really took off. The key difference? AlphaFold2 uses something called a transformer neural network, which helps the AI pay attention to different parts of the protein sequence, like how Google's AI language models understand sentences. Instead of trying to predict a protein structure bit by bit, AlphaFold2 can look at the big picture and figure out how everything fits together. Pretty cool, right? So, how did this revolutionary technology earn a Nobel Prize? Well, in 2024, Demis Hassabis, John Jumper, and David Baker received the Nobel Prize in Chemistry for their work on AlphaFold2. David Baker, by the way, is a longtime protein expert whose lab also uses AI to design new proteins from scratch, another mind-blowing development. AlphaFold2 is already changing how scientists study diseases, design drugs, and even create synthetic proteins for industrial use. In fact, just about any area of life science that involves proteins can now benefit from this technology. Before AlphaFold2, figuring out how a single protein folded could take years of research. Now, with this AI, we can predict the structure in a matter of minutes. Think about that, what used to take years now takes minutes. But here's the thing, AlphaFold2 is only part of the story. While it can predict the final structure of a protein, it doesn't explain why proteins fold the way they do. That's still a mystery. It's kind of like AI models that can write impressive sentences or stories, but they don't really understand the meaning behind the words. To truly understand why proteins fold the way they do, we need to dig deeper into the physics and chemistry behind the process. One of the biggest mysteries here is called the Leventhal paradox. It's named after a scientist, Cyrus Leventhal, who pointed out that if a protein tried to randomly explore all possible shapes, it would take longer than the age of the universe to fold. Yet, proteins fold in just seconds. How do they do it? That's a question we still don't fully understand, and it's one of the next big challenges in this field. So, where do we go from here? AlphaFold2 has opened the door to a whole new era in life sciences, but there's still plenty left to discover. As AI continues to evolve, we might soon have tools that don't just predict the structure of proteins, but also explain the rules behind their folding. Who knows, maybe the next Nobel Prize will be awarded for that very breakthrough. That's all for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed this deep dive into how AI is revolutionizing science, and specifically, how AlphaFold2 is helping us solve one of the biggest puzzles in biology. If you found this topic interesting, don't forget to subscribe and share the podcast with your friends. Until next time, stay curious.